like to reconvene tonight's regularly scheduled board meeting. It is straight up 7 o'clock. And I'd like to welcome everyone here. We appreciate you being here. And at this time, we could all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. You may be seated. Dr. Sconzo, do we have any commendations and recognitions tonight?
We do, Mr. President and trustees, but we will begin first by looking at this month's inspiring moment. Jonathan Frey is going to run the video, and just for the benefit of anyone who may not know Jonathan, he's still relatively new to our family as our Assistant Director for Public Communications, and in a very short amount of time, he's just done some amazing work, I believe, for the district. So Jonathan, thank you, and we'll get to witness this past year in review thanks to your efforts.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. I can feel my face when I'm with you. I can feel my face. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can feel my face when I'm with you. Your way and the vibe is feeling strong, and what's small turn to a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, the love will never get lost. I swear I lived.
thank you again. Truly a great year by any measure, in my opinion, and certainly due to the literally thousands upon thousands of students and staff that shined in so many different ways. So, Mr. Sitton, if you would please join me out front, I'm going to ask Jerry Mondaron to come to the podium. She will recognize our super staffers for the month, and she will be making a really very special presentation on behalf of the Texas Association of School Boards.
So just as a reminder, each month campuses and departments select an individual to be honored as a super staffer for their outstanding work in advancing student achievement. A drawing is held and 3 honorees receive additional recognition at the school board meeting, including a $200 gift card to Papa's Restaurants thanks to an award sponsor. The sponsor for this month's Super Staffer Awards is the Humble ISD Education Foundation, and I've been joined up front by Jen Sitton, who is currently the Vice Chair for the Education Foundation and will roll into the Chair spot starting July 1st, and Scott Brady, who is on our Executive Board for the Foundation. They're going to help me hand out some awards. So first of all, we would normally recognize our elementary super staffer, and that I'm going to go ahead and give you the name. It's Ruben DeLeon from Northbelt Elementary. He was the head custodian. He did have an emergency come up just recently with his grandson a few minutes ago, so he's having to take care of that, which is where he should be, but we're going to make sure we recognize him at the July board meeting. So being honored as a secondary super staffer tonight is Shannon Pfeiffer from Ross Sterling Middle School. Shannon, you want to come up there? And Janiko Bartley is her principal. Come on up, Mr. Bartley. So Mr. Bartley said this about Shannon, who is the bookkeeper at Ross Sterling. Shannon works really hard and is always helpful. She goes above and beyond to assist others and does her job in addition to taking on many other tasks that are not related to her day-to-day duties. We are very grateful for Shannon being on our campus. Being honored as the support super staffer this month is Sarah Anthony from Risk Management. Sarah, come on up front. And Sarah's supervisor, Shelley Vineyard, Director of Purchasing and Risk Management, will join her up front. And this is what was said when Sarah was nominated. She is the key contact for workers' compensation, accidents, safety training, and so much more. Sarah is very friendly to everyone she works with. She deals with both internal and external customers and always conducts herself in a professional manner. When dealing with employees with a workers' compensation claim, she not only provides them with all the information required for treatment, she also follows back up with them to see how they're feeling. She is a very compassionate individual, and Humble ISD is fortunate to have her. Sarah goes above and beyond her duties and is always willing to learn new things and take on new tasks. So tonight, Humble ISD is pleased to recognize the commitment of Text and Drive in supporting Humble ISD students. Let me tell you a little bit about them before I ask them to come up. Text and Drive broadcast our live district athletic games, the graduation ceremonies, even fundraising events such as TED on the Roof for the Kingwood High School Annual Fund, and even board meetings such as this one tonight. In addition, Text and Drive sponsors many foundation special events, including serving as the presenting sponsor for the Humble Rodeo and Barbecue Cook-Off. These generous actions to help support educators across Humble ISD in funding classroom grants that improve student achievement. Text and Drive also sponsors the Text and Live annual football camp, which since I'm up here, I'm going to go ahead and give a plug. June 23rd through the 25th, you can go to textandlive.com to register. So Humble ISD is pleased to nominate Text and Drive for the Texas Association of School Boards program, Businesses Standing Up for Public Schools. We are pleased that Text and Drive's commitment to public education is now recognized at the state level through this prestigious program. So please join me in welcoming up to the front to receive this award, Bert Brocker, Regional Vice President for Ken Garf. Scott Tibbetts, General Manager at Texan GMC Buick. And Zeke Marino, General Manager at Texan Dodge CJR.
And I want to bring our right hand up here, Jonelle up here. Jonelle is without her, none of us would exist.
President, I'll now turn it to you for this month's Stellar Standouts.
This month's Stellar Standouts features elementary and middle school winners of Humble ISD's Math Wars competition, and also 9 7th graders who received grand recognition from the Duke University Talent Identification Program. Humble ISD had its largest signing day yet, at which 50 athletes signed to play college sports. Atascocita, Humble, and Kingwood High School aero science classes participated with students from 30 Texas high schools in a STEM project that launched more than 80 rockets in Fredericksburg, Texas. Atascocita High School orchestra students presented the performance for a cause, raising funds for local charities. And I'm proud to tell you that graduating seniors from all 6 Humble ISD high schools received a collective total of $14,505,460 in scholarship offers. Stellar Standouts is a way to recognize our students on a monthly basis and are archived on the district homepage for this month as well as all previous months. Is that it on that? Okay. Now, let's see, tonight's a special night. You may or may not have heard that Dr. Sconzo is retiring after 15 years at Humble ISD. Noting the conclusion of another successful school year here, we want to honor your exemplary service and extraordinary man. Humble ISD Superintendent Dr. Guy Sconzo. As he leads towards the next part of his journey, I'd like to take a moment to honor Guy as we look back and discover some key moments that may have led to this success.
Meet Dr. Guy Sconzo, Superintendent Extraordinaire of Humble ISD. But this is no ordinary guy. Dr. Sconzo joined the Humble ISD family in 2001, a year which holds a lot of historical significance. Oklahoma triumphed over Florida State to capture the BCS National Championship. Gladiator won Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and Josh Groban released his debut album. Just prior to Dr. Sconzo's arrival, tropical. Shortly after his arrival, the attack known as 9/11 took place. But who better to lead the people of Humble ISD forward? After all, Dr. Sconzo is a leader.
A leader is someone who helps people by being the boss, but not in a bossy way. They're strong and they're confident. He just can make smart decisions, even if others don't exactly know what he's doing. They're never frightened.
A leader is someone who, directs someone and helps them and commands them to do, stuff and is in charge of them.
A leader is open to other people's ideas. They're brave. They try and set a good example for others that look up to them.
You just felt his leadership. You didn't feel him, whatever we needed, whatever the campuses needed, that's what we did. And that's what we still do every day.
But Guy Sconzo began building his legacy as a leader long before coming to Humble, Texas.
Well, Guy, I wish I could be there to join in this celebration of leadership, but I feel really special that I was asked to participate in this way. I think about our time together, our working together, and our friendship, and so many memories come to me. As you know, we share a couple of things in common. First of all, our Italian heritage, and then the fact that we both like to wear suspenders. And it kind of occurs to me some stories related to that as I think back at our time together. And I recall when I was first had the opportunity to come to the Oklahoma City Public Schools, had just been there a couple of weeks. I was out in the hallway and I had my jacket off, had my suspenders on, and one of the employees came up to me in the hall, and I guess she got a little confused, thought I was you, and just said, "Dr. Sconzo, we're doing United Way fund drive. Can we count on you this year?" And I just kind of took advantage of that and said, "You can count on me as you always do. In fact, whatever I gave last year, just double it." I don't know how that turned out for you, but I know it turned out well for the United Way.
Ah, God, you've given 15 great years to Humboldt, Texas, and I know you're feeling good tonight. Congratulations. I'm very proud of the fact that many years ago I had sense enough to appoint you as my assistant superintendent when we together took up the challenge of leading the Oklahoma City Public School District. You were a jewel of a man then, and as I have read your progress in Texas, you've been a jewel of an educator there. Thank you for your support, thank you for your assistance, thank you for your love, and a special thanks to Diane and the kids. Be well, enjoy your day, and God bless.
It's clear Dr. Sconzo has been doing things right for a long time. But after much research and data crunching, we have determined the exact date his awesomeness began. October 24th, 1969 was the day a young guy in Manhattan took Diane Greco on their first date. They went to see the movie Funny Girl starring Barbra Streisand. They were married June 30th, 1974.
You know, at the end of freshman year in college, which is where we met, you had to have a 1.52 GPA to become a sophomore. Well, I did it. I had a great time in college my freshman year, but going to class wasn't one of the activities I did very regularly. In any event, so I got my letter at the end of freshman year that I would not be advancing to sophomore status and would have to go to summer school if I chose to do that, or just not return. Well, I was working part-time for the phone company in New York then, and decided that college was not for me. I'm going to work full-time for the phone company. So I announced that to Diane. We had been dating at that point maybe 6-7 months. So I told her, I'm not going to be back in the fall, but still going to be around, going to work full-time for the phone company, going to make a whole lot of money. And she very calmly just said to me, well, that's fine, but you don't need to call me anymore because I don't date anyone that doesn't go to college. Not the response I expected. So I talked my parents into letting me enroll for summer school, one more chance. That summer school, I got 2 A's, got reinstated, went on to sophomore year, and Diane effectively created a monster. I never stopped going to school, went right through to my doctorate, and obviously you know what I do today. So it really was her. It was all about, no way was I going to give her up. I pretty much would do anything, including going to summer school and acing a couple of classes.
Now, recently, we had a group of real experts in the administration building. Let's see what they had to say.
Oh, hi, it's right here. Sit right here, and I'm gonna tell you all about Grandpa. He's the superintendent of almost ISD. A lot of people call him Dr. Sandy though, but we get to call Grandpa. We're pretty lucky. Hey, are you paying attention? This is important. He's generous. He's supportive. He's compassionate. Smart. He's a leader. Do you need a tidy, Larry? He's awesome. Our grandpa is the best. I can't wait for Grandpa to pick me up from school.
There you have it, straight from the experts. Dr. Sconzo is a smart, compassionate leader who's not afraid to do almost anything, as long as it's for the kids.
it's been 43 years in education, and Diane literally was with me and by my side every step of the way. She has given me the most amazing family I could have never dreamed of having children, two children that are everything in my life, and both of them in turn have given us just precious grandchildren. So that is what life is all about. Diane gave that to me. So Diane, thanks. I know I probably don't say that often enough, but you've meant everything to me, and all the blessings that I've enjoyed in my career, I obviously credit to God, but Diane on this God-given earth, I credit you. So thanks so much.
I'm going to miss him. He really has been the best for Humble ISD.
As we look back on the last 15 years in Humble ISD, Dr. Sconzo never met a stranger. He was on campuses and involved. This slideshow should bring back some good memories. So finally, as we say farewell, we don't say goodbye. Because he's not really leaving. He's coming back to us as a grandfather. He'll be in the car rider line with the rest of you. At this time, if I could have all the trustees join me out front along with Dr. Sconzo, what we'd like to do now is give you your crystal bowl as a token of our appreciation for leading and serving the people of Humble ISD with honor, with wisdom, and with love for the past 15 years. So that brings us to the part of the meeting with questions and comments from patrons and employees of the district regarding agenda items or any other matters. I would like to invite first to the podium Ms. Mia Hoyt.
Hi guys, again I'm Mia Hoyt, and I want to first start with saying thank you to Dr. Sconzo for everything you've done for our district. You know, obviously it's been said you've got very big shoes to fill. So, ahead of tonight's meeting, it was believed that our Board of Trustees would offer the next superintendent position to Dr. Liz Fagan. At this time, there's not much that can be done to stop that from happening. We can be thankful that this controversy has brought awareness to our community, and it has, at minimum, increased the community participation. It is our belief that at this point, the best thing we can do is to give our dissenting opinion and move forward. There is obviously a lot of anger and emotions that came up after the June 8th board meeting. Many of us feel like things could have been done better, and we feel disappointed at the many ways that our first opportunity to get answers fell flat. Please note that while we may continue to feel concerned and passionate over the events leading up to tonight's board meeting, there is nothing we can do to change its intended outcome. Therefore, we must, as a group, move on. As individuals, we can decide if we will put our trust back into our board and give Dr. Fagan a chance. We can individually decide if we are willing to leave it alone and hope for the best. We can also choose to stay actively involved in the school district, become informed on mandates, reforms, and changes coming our way, and be vigilant and vocal during their implementation. We can then choose to hold the members of the board accountable for missteps and mistakes if they are made. We can volunteer, we can remain vigilant, and we can vote. That's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Next up, I believe it's Kate Brown.
Hi, board members and Dr. Sconzo, congratulations. To date, over 1,900 Humble ISD residents have signed the petition that has been shared with you, the Board of Trustees. The board states, we the parents, legal guardians, and persons holding the right to make educational decisions for our pupils, including foster parents, who hold rights to make educational decisions, are requesting the Humble ISD Board of Trustees to reconsider their decision to hire Dr. Elizabeth Fagan as the new superintendent. We firmly believe this is not in the best interest for our children's future and education. Her recent track record as the superintendent in Douglas County does not give us the reassurance that this is the best decision for our children. We have had numerous members, including staff of Douglas County, reach out to the Humble community to voice their concerns over her inadequate leadership for the Douglas County school system. In addition, unbiased journalists have not found her leadership supportive of a nurturing environment for learning. We respectfully ask that the Humble Board of Trustees to not hire Dr. Elizabeth Fagan as our new superintendent. All signatures outside of the Humble ISD zip codes have been removed, leaving over 1,900 signatures. There is no reason that this should not be considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Now we have comments from members of the board. We'll start to my right. Well, before I do that, as you see, Ms. Morrison, Nancy Morrison's not here. I read a statement on her behalf last Wednesday. She is still on her family vacation. She is on a river cruise in Portugal. And it was a trip that was planned over a year ago, and so she sends her regrets in full support of the board tonight. So now to Mr. Engelage.
Very good, thank you. Mia and Kate, thank you for your comments tonight. I appreciate those. This is our time to say some nice things about Guidance Council. So I don't know if you remember this, but the first time I met you was via email. Remember that or not? If I don't, you've got a few emails from me. But, my daughters were going to Bear Branch. I see Khaki in the audience, their principal. And I was aggravated about something. It had nothing to do with Khaki, which is good. But I was aggravated about something. I think it was something about security. So I decided, I was up early, and I thought, well, I'm going to shoot you an email by the time you get into work at 9:30. You'll get that. So I shot that email off. I'll be danged if 5 minutes later you responded. I thought, oh crap, this guy's up early. But that was the first of many, many emails between you and I. So thank you for everything. Thank you particularly for how you've treated your daughters. It's been something that's, when I look back on my days on the board, to be very, very special. Because they love you. They love you and Diane. I have so many wonderful memories of when they were little, and you would go through Bear Branch, and they would call me at work and say, Daddy, he knows who I am, like this God figure. So thank you for that, very, very much. Just one quick story about Dr. Sconzo. One of the things that he and I always have done over the last 8 years is whenever there'd be a stressful or difficult situation, I would always end my email with, just another chapter for your book. And I can't wait to read that book. But he would always say, he'd always end it with, they wouldn't know whether to put it in the fiction section or the nonfiction section, because some of it is so. You're a class act, I love you and I appreciate you.
Mr. Cunningham.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Sconzo, I will say that along with my family, we appreciate the last 15 years. When we got here, I was just a volunteer in the district. Needless to say, it's probably because of me that I'm on the board now. My kids, I love you for what you did because you knew their names, and this man never forgets a name. And my son, when he was in school, he was like, I saw Dr. Sconzo, and he came up to me, and it's like, Dad, I can't do nothing. And now it's the granddaughter, because she came up to me about right before school was out. You were at Fall Creek, and she says, you know, Papa, I saw Dr. Sconzo. I said, did he talk to you? Yes. So I'm just gonna say, God knows it's not the end, and I'm looking forward to probably playing a little bit more golf. And as we get a twosome, for those that don't know, we are undefeated. You know, he's got a player. I won't say an A player, but he's got a player. So look forward to it. And Guy, once again, Stella's not here, but she sends her love. All the kids do, and we'll be in touch.
Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Sitton. it may get a little dusty in here. I've worked with Dr. Sconzo for 11 years, and only Dr. Lanyon has worked with Dr. Sconzo longer as a board member. And a lot of folks don't remember what this district was like when Dr. Sconzo was hired on back in 2001. The district was split. Not only was Kingwood split, I don't know if you remember the K Park, Kingwood High School issues, the district was massively split between north of the river and south of the river. And so you came into a fragmented district, and thank God we didn't have social media at that time, because we had Dr. Sconzo, who's never was was associate superintendent in Oklahoma City, and was a Yankee, wasn't from Texas, and so you had this guy walk into the district. Thank God he did. You had a bond referendum that was desperately needed at the time. We had explosive growth. We couldn't afford schools. Failed, which was really devastating and scary. Through Dr. Sconzo's leadership, however, all of those splits and divisions were mended back together. You don't hear discussions anymore about north of the river and south of the river. You don't hear about the angst between Kingwood Park and Kingwood High School. In fact, back then, I think you had 6 of 7 board members that lived in Kingwood. Now, if you look at the board members, they're all around the district. Every area is covered. The district isn't fragmented before, and I think that is because of not only Dr. Sconzo's leadership, but his engagement with the community. And he was the right guy at the right time for us. There's no question about that. In addition to all of that work, when I first got on the board a little over 10 years ago, the only thing we would talk about, we didn't have time to talk about education. We talked about budget cuts. We talked about cutting things to the bone. Remember those discussions? It was horrible. It wasn't fun. I kept thought to myself, what did I get myself into? This is not fun. This is not education. And Dr. Sconzo did it all, kept us together, kept us excited, kept us motivated, to the point now where everything has really changed for us as a district. We for the last 4 or 5 or 6 years, the discussion has been around issues like curriculum, around education, around these things that actually make this volunteer position fun. And God, Dr. Sconzo, I thank you for your leadership. I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for what you've done for this district and for this community. So thank you.
Mr. Russing.
So first I wanted to thank the folks that put together the video, because we can always look forward to sort of being reminded as to why we're up here in the first place. And that always comes with the way we kick off every single meeting, and to see or to hear throughout the year snippets of all of the positive things that happened throughout the year is always great to hear. But to see the culmination of it, it's almost overwhelming, because you really realize how lucky we are in this community to have this school district, this leadership, and everything that went into creating that. That didn't just happen. People made that happen, and so it's the people in this room that made that happen. So just a great way to kick off this meeting. To Dr. Sconzo, the best thing I could probably say at this point is that for someone like me who still has, hopefully, a lot of career left, it's important for me to pay attention to people like you, to sort of serve in that mentor role. And in the 3 short years that I've worked with you, you have been that to me, whether you know it or not. You've shown me how to treat colleagues. You've shown me how to treat the community. You've shown me what's important to trying to be a small part of what this community is trying to do. And so I will forever be grateful for that. And just know that I won't stop looking up to you for that leadership, so that mentorship. So thank you.
Ms. Conrad.
Thank you, Mr. President. What's there left to say about Dr. Sconzo? I think one thing that I'm most thankful for is, knowing us and the human qualities that we all have. We get moody and we have things that happen in our lives, and you never know what you're going to get when you see each other. Is it going to be the mad Angela, or is it going to, what's happened and how's she going to be today? With this guy, you never have to wonder what guy you're going to get. He's always genuine and just welcoming, and so I love that about you. You have taught me that, to try to be that as well. He's the only person I know that operates naturally with an outward mindset. He treats people as people and not as objects or obstacles. So you've taught me a lot too. And I know as a teacher in this district, you supported my innovative efforts in technology. As a board member, you've provided me guidance and wisdom. And so I just want to wish you the best in your next chapter. And I know those won't be the last pictures of you reading to our kids. So we'll see you around.
Well, Doc, what can I say? I consider you a true friend and a true mentor. I went to school while George Turner was the superintendent here. I was teaching and coaching in the Aldine School District while Dr. Say was here. When you came along, it was, we need someone who can unite the community back together. And what a lot of people don't know, and I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff that Mr. Lopez says, but what a lot of people don't know is what you do away from Mobile ISD. What you do in the community, what you do with the Chamber of Commerce, what you do with the Boy Scouts, what you do with the American Heart Association, your philanthropy, and the way that you have been a role model for all the leadership in Humble ISD, and a role model for all the leadership within our community. I've given a few speeches about the fact that our community gives back. We have a lot of nonprofits in our area, and it's been well documented that from a philanthropic standpoint, we're one of the most giving communities in the greater Houston area. And I truly believe a lot of that has to do with your leadership and the path that you've laid and the example that you've given us. I feel honored to have gotten to know you before I got on the board. I feel honored to have been able to work with you side by side for the last 5 years. And I'm not going to get sappy. The only thing I do regret is that I had my 9-year-old geared to go into Harvard, and now every time she sees you, she comes home and says, "Dad, I'm going to A&M. Dad, I'm going to A&M." So, Doc, we appreciate you, we love you, and thank you. So, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you all for enduring what I think has been the 29th time I said goodbye this month. But I hope you all know truly what a blessing you all have been to me and to my family. I think as I told all of the administrators this morning, I think I really have a good sense of what it feels like to die and what happens. I'm grateful that I had the chance to experience it while I'm still living. I do want to say this, and I really have no right to ask anything of anyone because of all the blessings that I've had. I work with the most incredible educators truly in the country. To a person, they're so kid-focused. I work with and for trustees today and trustees over 15 years who just have hearts for kids and do the best they know how to do to provide the best for children. So from one blessed guy, I would ask of everyone in our community this. 15 years ago, before I started, there were only 7 people in Humble ISD who knew that a Guy Sconzo existed on earth. When I finally came, I could not have felt more welcomed by everyone, more supported by everyone, and I was an unknown quantity. So I very much appreciate the people then giving me the benefit of the doubt. And I hope and I pray and I ask that you do the same for my success. What we have in this school district, in my humble opinion, is very special. And I don't expect that to change. Because I will be involved. I will be a grandparent. I have too much of my life and my family in this district to not be involved. So again, I don't have the right to ask, but I ask respectfully. Please give my successor what was given to me 15 years ago. And together, it's only going to get better, in my opinion. So thank you all very, very much. I do recognize that I still have 3 more weeks to work. So if you email me or at those early hours, Brent, you'll get a quick reply. Oh, and if I may, nothing to do with Guy, but I do want to share some of my time in this agenda. One of the many blessings we enjoy as a school district, in my opinion, is we have an extraordinarily large, active Retired Teachers Association, the Humble Area Retired Teachers Association, that I will proudly soon become a member of. I want to ask Janet Orth, Carolyn Mashburn, I believe is here also, to step forward to the podium and just share with you trustees and our community just how involved they are and how much they continue in retirement to benefit our children.
Thank you, Dr. Sconzo. Good evening to you and to the board and to the administration. And I swear this was not planned this way, that we would segue Dr. Sconzo from working to retirement into the Humble Area Retired Teachers Association, better known as HARDA. Tonight, Carolyn Mashburn, who is our current president, and I are here to speak to you a little bit about the presence of HARDA in the Humble ISD community. And I also have to say, I have stood at this podium many times, and this is far less stressful than it is. It is an honor to be here on behalf of HARDA and publicly thank Dr. Sconzo for his faithful support. He provides us with a venue for our meetings at the ISC every month, and it's so nice to walk in there and see people that we know, and they think we're old and happy, and we are. Dr. Sconzo also writes a column for our newsletter and has the distinction of always being the very first to submit his words of information, support, and gratitude. Every month he is the first one to do that, and we value that. The relationship between HARDA and Humble ISD is mutually supportive. In line with our mission, we are here to share some of the programs we have in place that support our teachers and our students. Since 1994-95, HARDA has provided 2 $1,500 scholarships to 2 students who are pursuing degrees in education. There are many people who really want to donate or contribute to the scholarship fund in memory of someone or in celebration of someone. To make it legal for these donations to be tax deductible, we work with the Humble ISD Education Foundation, a 501c3 organization, to set up our scholarship fund within the foundation. So this is helpful to our contributors, and it provides it helps us build our scholarship fund.
And then something new we're doing this year that we're really excited about and wanted to share with you. Because of our 501c3 affiliation, we received a grant from a family foundation, and we decided we wanted to give some money to the people who are actively involved with the students. So we started a teacher grant program. We didn't know if anybody would apply. We had 33 applicants, and we chose 13. 4 of those awards were given to people who wanted to go to a workshop, and we were able to pay for them to do that so they could be better teachers for our students. And 9 of them were for people who wanted to take college classes. Some people were working on their masters, and some were paraprofessionals who wanted to go into the classroom themselves. So we were very excited to get to do this. We loved it. It was successful. We're going to keep doing it every year, and we wanted you to know about it. Another thing we've done brand new this year is something called the Readers Love Teachers Committee. It is a community outreach. We go to the community events. Like, for an example, we were at the Keller Williams concert in the park, and as the people were enjoying the music, we talked to the families and said, could we give a free book to your children? And when the children came up to select their free book, we were able to say, and do you have a favorite teacher? And tell us about that teacher. And we then gave 2 elementary teachers, 1 middle school teacher, and 1 high school teacher a surprise visit and a little cash check from us in appreciation from their students. The kids loved it, we loved it, the parents loved it, the teachers loved it. We're going to do that again too. And speaking of books, every year we collect thousands of books. Every time we have a meeting, people bring books, and we collect them and we do something with them. Yes, teachers' concert in the park, but one year we had a new school open, do tell, in Humble ISD, a new school, and some of the teachers were having trouble building their own classroom libraries. We gave them books. One year it was the Head Start students. They needed more books. We gave them books. So we'll continue to do that too, and we're proud of that involvement. And finally, I want to talk about volunteerism. We were number 2 in the entire Houston area for turning in volunteer hours. And a lot of those volunteer hours are in Humble ISD. In fact, last year, Dr. Sconzo said, we need some help with kindergarten registration. And we all showed up at the ISC, and we worked all day and had a wonderful time helping the district. So we're proud of that involvement too.
And one other thing, at our December meeting, which Dr. Sconzo, you will enjoy this, we invite a choir from one of our high schools. We rotate it every year. It's a highlight for me. I really do enjoy it. And they perform, and then we contribute a little honorarium to their specific program to help them to get the supplies and things that they need. So, HARDA is a very active group with over 470 members during 2015-16, and next year we hope to increase that at least by 1. We know we are not forgotten, but we want you to know that while we may be gone, we have not forgotten you. So thank you so much for this opportunity tonight. This is such a special night anyhow, and to be able to be here really is quite nice. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rushing, do we have any agenda items that we need to motions from closed session?
Yes, Mr. President. As to personnel, I move that the board approve the administration's personnel recommendations as presented with addendum.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor? 6-0.
As to the minutes, I move that the board approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on May 6, 2016.
Okay, motion. We have a second. All those in favor? 6-0 as well.
As to the minutes, I move that the board approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on May 7th, 2016.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0.
As to the minutes, I move that the board approve the minutes of the special board meeting held on May 9th, 2016.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0.
I move that the board approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on May 10th, 2016.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0 as well.
Move that the board approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on May 11th, 2016.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0.
Move that the board approve the minutes for the special board meeting held on May 12th, 2016.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0 as well.
Move that the board approve the minutes for the regular board meeting held on May 24th, 2016.
Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor? 6-0. All right, let's move into our board associations and committees. Our audit committee, Mr. Cunningham.
No report.
All right, Board and Superintendent Evaluation Process and Goals Committee, Ms. Conrad.
Meeting following this meeting.
Okay. Education Foundation, Ms. Conrad.
No report.
Finance Committee, Mr. Rushing.
Meeting June 21st.
Okay. Kingwood Super Neighborhood Council, that would be Ms. Morrison, and she is not here. Legislative Committee will also be Ms. Morrison, and she is not here. Program Committee, Mr. Lopez. Technology and Data Governance Committee, Ms. Conrad.
Yes, Mr. President, we met last week and had a demonstration of the Board Docs program, which is something that would help us to, digitize our agendas beyond a PDF system. We've also looked at, previously we shared with you the board book. This is another system. We were just kind of comparing features and costs. So we'll be sending you a kind of comparison of those things. I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to provide, not only make it easier on ourselves and administration in terms of the workflow of creating agenda items, but there's a public side that I think our public will appreciate too, where they'll be able to be searchable and things like that. One feature that this one had too was it had a meta search feature, so you can actually look at all policies from all participating districts. So it would be helpful when we're creating new policies or comparing to other districts and things like that. So you'll be receiving that. They also provided us with Texas districts that were using those, so you can reach out. You can look at their public side as well as reach out to any board members you might know that are using those tools in their districts to see if that's something that we may want here.
Thank you, Ms. Conrad, for taking the lead on that. I think that's something that we all want to pursue and look at and see what the right direction is. So thank you for taking the lead on that. All right, so let's move on into our consent agenda. Mr. Rush, yes.
Building and planning, we skipped over. Can I just make a quick report?
Skip over?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No worries. Thank you, Dr. Brown, for always sending us out this little summary. It's been great. It's been very helpful. Just a few highlights. We met with our district's energy manager, Melissa Kreiser, gave us a great report. We really appreciated that. She's working with Klein ISD, which is sort of the guru in the area of energy management. So we appreciate Klein helping her out, and we expect to have Melissa here to give the full board a report at some point later this year. As you've probably seen, the groundbreaking has been postponed for elementary 28 because of mud and muck. So we're praying for some dry days. Also, Turner Stadium parking lot is on time and on schedule to finish those 200 parking spots. Just a reminder to the community that's being paid for in full by the Houston Sports Authority, $800,000. It's just really nice. Free is a good word. So that's right. That's right. So thank you. And finally, the transportation grant. Our district was very fortunate to be able to purchase 5 school buses, and our purchase price was $174,000 and change instead of $168,000. We got a grant for $293,000. So kudos to the transportation department for all of that. Thanks, sir.
Okay. I do want to add two items that we discussed that wasn't necessarily Humble ISD related, but it does affect us, and that is the intersection at Rustic Timbers and Will Clayton that goes into the back of Turner Stadium. A traffic signal will be installed there, should be operable by August 1st. Also, there's an intersection at Will Clayton and June Forest that we've had some issues over the years with pedestrian traffic, specifically school-age children, trying to get across to the sidewalk. And that traffic signal will be operable, I think, by the middle of July. If not, it'll definitely be operable before school starts in the fall. So I want a big shout out to Harris County Precinct 2 and Precinct 4 for helping us get those things done. All right, so now we can move on to our consent agenda, and Mr. Rushing, if you can help me along here. Under governance consideration, item A, revisions to TASB policy FL local. That is consent. Revisions to TASB policy CB local. That is consent. 2016-17 student code of conduct. That is consent. No reports, no items under superintendent's division. Learning division reports and considerations. Item A, pre-K attendance for the 2016-17 school year. That is consent. Interlocal agreement with Harris County Department of Education. That is consent. Interlocal agreement with Lone Star College Kingwood. That is consent. JJAEP Memorandum of Understanding. Item D. That is consent. Item E, low attendance waiver for the 2016-17 school year. That is consent. Under Financial Services Division's reports and considerations, item A, tax refunds. That is consent. Item B, budgetary amendments. That is also consent. Nothing under Human Resources, Support Services Division. Item A, subdivision plat for Ridge Creek Elementary. That is consent. Item B, goods and professional services and construction-related services at or above $50,000. That is consent. Under district-wide reports, item A, goods, professional services, and non-construction services exceeding $50,000 in the aggregate or $25,000 individually. That is consent. Under board considerations, item A, appointment of Humble ISD superintendent. Okay, that will be an individual item. Mr. Rushing, if you could read that back to me in the form of a motion, please.
So, Mr. President, as to the consent agenda, I move that the board approve the following items by consent. Under governance, items A, B, and C. Under learning division, items A, B, C, D, and E. Under financial services division, items A and B. Under support services division, items A and B. Under district-wide services division, item A.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All those in favor? 6-0 on the consent agenda. Dr. Sconzo, under Financial Services Division, we have our normal financial reports.
That's correct. That's our monthly financial report. I'm happy to respond to any trustees' questions or requests for additional information this evening or subsequent to tonight.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so board considerations, appointment of Humble ISD superintendent. That is an individual item. Need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. Any comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? 6-0. All right, so the last thing on our agenda is any future board business or any additional comments by trustees. Mr. Lopez?
Now that we've named Dr. Fagan as our next superintendent officially, we know as a board that we've made some mistakes in the rollout of her announcement, and we of course apologize for those mistakes. But going forward, we want to create a dialogue in our community where we'll be able to allow our community to meet Dr. Fagan and ask her really any questions that they want. Therefore, we're going to be holding town halls on July 19th at Kingwood High School, July 21st at Humble High School, and July 28th at Atascocita High School, all at 6 p.m. Our community members and employees, specifically our teachers, are invited and indeed encouraged to attend to ask their questions. There will also be a process in which if somebody doesn't want to get up and ask a question themselves, they can write a question down on a piece of paper that we will provide. We'll collect those and we'll ask them so those questions can be asked anonymously. These town halls will be videoed and then placed on the district website for those who cannot attend. It is our hope that through these town halls that you will understand what we as a board saw and do see in Dr. Fagan during our selection process, and gain the excitement that we have regarding the future of Humble ISD. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Ms. Conrad asked for clarification. No, we will not have a presentation at that meeting. It will be, I promise, less than a 3-minute introduction, and then the microphone will be handed to Dr. Fagan to take questions. Again, any questions that anyone in the community wishes to ask her. There'll be 3 meetings. They'll be spread out, and nothing will be off the table.
All right. That concludes our agenda tonight. It is 8:12 and our meeting is adjourned.